I think
Purpose. No one can create your purpose for you. No one can tell you who to be. So in purpose, you have to create your own purpose. And in evolution, you have to evolve towards that purpose. It's easier to live when you have goals to meet. You understand? If you have goals to meet, then you don't feel so voided, and you understand why every day you're looking at this person in the mirror, because that is the cool part about the game. You get to be anybody you want to be.
All right, guys, welcome. We're back again on another episode of the Power of Ownership podcast. We got the all-star panel again this week. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce everybody, and then I'm gonna have them introduce themselves. I got my co-host David Youngs in the building, and Brandon Dunbar, and we got a special guest, one of my brother from another mother, but I got Mr. Cal Adams here as well. So we're going to do the round robin. I'm going to introduce myself thoroughly with the banners, and then we're going to go ahead and do let everybody introduce themselves. All right, so let's go ahead and kick it off. Without further ado. All right, my name is Brandon B. Dixon. My NMLS is 1541210. It's at BNL Loan Officer on all social media. Please like, follow, and subscribe. Also, my YouTube. We're close to 1,000 followers here, so let's get to 5,000 here before the end of the year. That's the goal. So please like, subscribe, and follow us. If you're interested in a mortgage, go to my website, www.applywithb.com. Also, you can book me for a consultation. You can call me 832-775-8357. You can call me 24/7, long as it's about business. Also, my website, www.brandonbdixon.com. Don't forget, I'm a licensed realtor as well if you want to list or lease. And then, last but not least, as you can see with Dunbar, my website, welovefrenchies.com. That's my other business as well. We Love Frenchies, where I have some of the best Frenchies bulls in the game, you know. David, I got you queued up and ready to roll. Whenever
Awesome.
You're ready. I think you moved yours, but let's...
That's what we know, but it should be in the right order now. So
yeah, I got you. I see it now. All right.
Perfect. So my name is David Youngs. I have my license number 328679. OG in the industry. Keep going. That's my YouTube channel, Infinite Home Team with YouTube. That is my team name, which should be the next one as well, which is my website, infinitehometeam.com. Will get you to a lot of free, cool resources. You can run calculators, download guides, all kinds of cool things on there. So check that out. And lastly, if you go to .cards/David Youngs and do it from your phone, you can download all of my contact information, including my website, my calendar, my Zoom, everything into one place into your phone. So that's how you can reach me.
Gotcha. Dunbar, I got you queued up.
All right. Good evening. Happy Monday. I'm Brandon Dunbar. To see all of my contact information and to see all my reviews, you can just Google my name, Brandon Dunbar Realtor, and you will be able to see all my contact information as well as my reviews. Next. If you want to book a consultation to talk anything real estate, DunbarDiddy.com is the place to go. If you just reach out, I would definitely reach back out, and we'll get you where you want to be.
Gotcha. And who's that? The little guy you got right there with you?
I have a co-host here. I also partner with Dixon with his Frenchie business. I got this lovely little buddy here. He's gonna be with us for a little bit today. Don't mind him.
Right.
And his name is?
His name is Lambo.
Right. Yeah, man. He's almost 11 weeks this week?
I think 10 weeks.
10 or 11 weeks. But yeah, super duper small, compact lilac boy with a crazy. Look at that dome on that boy.
He's so chill too. He looks like he's gonna fall asleep right there.
I did wake him up, so I think I'm gonna let him go back to sleep after we introduce ourselves. I don't want to intrude on his his beauty rest.
Gotcha. Cal, what's going on? I appreciate you joining us. This is Cal first time on podcast. So go ahead and introduce yourself and elaborate a little bit, on what you do since you're our guest.
Yeah, first off, appreciate you guys having me on. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really nervous to follow Lambo. That's a hard act to follow. But with that being said, yeah, I'm a business consultant, so I've been doing it for probably about over a decade. It's somewhere around 15 years. If you're a trainer, if you're a coach, or if you run a service business and you're tired of actually running the service itself and you want to work on your business instead of in your business, hit me up. I'm all about financial freedom, scaling. We mainly work with multi-unit operators, so franchises, people that own 2 to 3 to 4 gyms. So hit me up. My goal is to get you more leads, not only more leads, but help you with what to do with those leads and help you crush it in the long term. So you can hit me up at Cal Adams _ Instagram, or just look me up and I can help you out.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you've been. I didn't know you was in there for a decade. So I thought you just got into the consulting piece. So didn't you own a gym at one point as well?
Yep. So I went from trainer to freelancer to owning a gym to opening a franchise. So we opened up 16 locations across the country. And then from there, I moved more into the consulting bit because we had a lot of gyms outside of our franchise that would hit me up. Be like, hey, man, how do we grow? How do we scale? What do we need to do? So one thing led to another, and we just started me and a business partner started another business.
Gotcha.
He's kind of the magician of the operation. So he's the technology piece. So he helps put together a lot of the systems, softwares, the backends, the automations, all the stuff that makes your life easy. And I'm more of the kind of front face of the company. So I do a lot of the consulting when it comes to like limiting beliefs, setting goals, actions to take daily, inputs on what makes you successful, stuff like that.
For those watching, are you nationwide as well, Cal?
Yeah, worldwide actually. So we've got clients in Canada. I've had clients in Australia. I actually had a client in Dubai at one point. So we work everywhere.
It's amazing.
Gotcha. So yeah, that's what we're bringing. If this is your first time tuning in to Power of Ownership podcast, we not only talk about ownerships of properties and businesses, but we also talk about ownership of the mind, body, and soul as well, taking ownership of your destiny. So we expand the conversation. So I think I got some clips that's going to embody what we're talking about, since in the spirit of Cal here, as far as business consulting and being in business, I think your mind is one of the most important things that you got to get correct and in tune in order to be a successful businessman, if that makes sense. So if your mind is right, your business will never outgrow you, if that makes sense. So all right, so without further ado, I got this first clip. I sent this to Dunbar, but I didn't put it in the group yet because it hit me, and then I didn't have a chance to put it in the WhatsApp group. But so it is a surprise to. I don't know if Dunbar. I don't think you watched it either Dunbar, right?
Not yet.
All right,
I love surprises.
This will be a surprise to everybody except me. So but the good thing is what we do on this podcast, we introduce a clip, we watch it, and then we just talk about the natural reaction to it. So let's just react to it, and we'll go from there. So without further ado, let's hit the first clip here, and then we'll go from there. All right. So let me know if y'all can hear this first and see this.
There was ferocious social isolation, and there's no other way to make the NBA. From the age of 13 until 21, I lived in a total bubble of social isolation where no other people could touch my mission, my focus, and most importantly, my subconscious mind. Now, I had to do this because I was not the most talented young player. I was skinny and uncoordinated, didn't have ball skills. In fact, out of high school, I didn't have a single college scholarship. But 4 years later, I was an NBA lottery pick. Now, how did I do this? What I did was strategized for the long run. I didn't focus on jump shooting, ball handling, windmill dunks, even though I was the hardest working person in the world in all those departments. But my main focus underneath of that was on the number one asset that you need to have if you want to conquer the world in your industry. And that asset is delusion. And the way that you manufacture that asset is through extreme social isolation. And this is the only way See, when you're a teenager, your brain is still developing. You're extremely impressionable. And it only takes one well-placed, well-meaning sentence from somebody who loves and cares about you to suddenly infect your delusion and have you changing your priorities in life and changing your belief in yourself. This is people who love you, people who care about you, people who are probably better people than you, maybe even more successful than you. But you have to understand that the MBA mission is so irrational that when you spend time with anybody, their rationality is going to infect your delusion. So I understood as a teenager, every day when I woke up, when I wrote my workout schedule, that jump shots and improving my skills was a secondary priority. The number one thing that I did when I planned my day was think about, how do I stay away from people? How do I isolate from people so that my delusions can fester, so that my delusions can rot me from the inside out and warp my brain? The two delusions that I focused on the most, number one, was an extreme delusion that I can do this. An extreme delusional belief in myself that if I outworked every person on earth, I could actually go to the NBA. And this was a delusion because there was no evidence that said this was possible. I was not even supposed to play college basketball. How was I going to make the NBA? It was delusional. I had to protect it through social isolation. The other delusion that I protected through social isolation was the idea that the only thing that matters in life is basketball and the NBA. And the only thing that will ever matter in life is basketball and the NBA. And that if I fail to make it, my life will be miserable. Now, these things are obviously not true, but when you're a teenager, you can't even whisper that. You can't even think it once. You can't spend time with people who think that. Because even if they don't say it, those beliefs will bleed through into your subconscious mind, and suddenly you will not be subscribed to those delusions, and you can't let that happen. I played in the NBA, and what really got me
Powerful. I had to start the show off with that. That is super
like
duper powerful.
You did put that in the WhatsApp, and I did watch.
I did.
it.
I did. What I thought I didn't.
Not
I
a
thought I
surprise
didn't.
to me, but with
Right.
that said, I shouldn't go first. Somebody else should go first because of that.
Gotcha. Cal is the guest. You want to? Well, you want to listen to us how we react first, and then I'll let you go. It's up to you. I give you the right to turn it down or not. So you want to go first, or you want?
I mean, yeah, I could take it. So basically what he's describing, and I don't want to get too esoteric or anything, but he's describing an alchemical process. So what happens is when you go for a big goal or something that is delusional, I like the way he put it though, because I don't know, did you guys ever watch the Adam Sandler, Joe Rogan interview a while back? It was a really great interview. Adam Sandler was on Joe Rogan, but that was the one thing that stuck out to me during that interview was Adam Sandler repeatedly said he was delusional for thinking he was going to make it. And that really, it was like a seed that got planted in my mind because it's like, wow, you really do have to be out of this world to obtain that level of success. But going to this guy, what I love about what he's speaking is not just the goal itself, but he's including the transformative process that has to happen in relation to that crazy goal. You do, like alchemy, you have to lock yourself in an athanor, and you can't let any of the doubt or that vital fluid escape that athanor. A simple, maybe material example of this would be like you get really excited about a goal you have or a dream. Maybe it just pops up, wakes you in your sleep. You immediately tell a friend. What does the friend say?
They start to eat away, erode at it.
Instantly.
Right.
It kills all of it. And I think, and we all go through seasons of this. I know I do, even to this day, where I see a big vision and immediately my immediate reaction is to lock myself in a hole for 6 months. Don't say anything. Just work in silence. Because I know that at the end of that 6 months or that year, I'm going to come out and see a garden in front of me, at least starting to come to fruition. But if I immediately get that idea and then I act on it, start telling the world, boom, it's like a puff of smoke. It just vanishes.
Right.
For some reason, the doubts eat away at you. Your friends eat away at you. Your family eat away at you. And nothing against them. I don't think it's their fault. I think it's our own mission to make sure we harness that vision and we nurture it, not to give it away to, at least they say in philosophy, like, don't give your pearls to swine.
Right.
And I think that's an embodiment of this.
Right. I'll piggyback on that. Though you've been great panelists, I know we kind of share with the philosophy and kind of breaking stuff down. I want to piggyback on that and kind of bring it a little bit personal. That's one of the things that I still struggle with, and I think a lot of people in the same boat they struggle with, because what you want to do, you want to vet your ideas to your family and friends. And you want to cut corners as far as the dopamine, like, hey, this is a good idea, right? And you're looking for that encouragement to keep you going, but they're going to do the opposite. They're gonna tear it down, because either they're jealous they didn't come up with the idea, or the fact that you could rise above them, it kind of forms some resentment. So you're not going to get the actual result that you want by sharing your ideas. So when to get the maturity level, you got to kind of harness that energy, and like Al said, is let that fester, let it stew in his own juices, in order to to actually boil and boil over and make yourself great. I think what happens is that dopamine hit that we get by, hey, what do you think? And you want them to fantasize with you. Hey, you think this will be great? Oh, this is gonna be big, and that instantly releases the dopamine. You actually, boom, your energy is already gone because you released it out to the world, right? So the second part of this, I want to take as well, is that if you delay that gratification, it actually makes it more powerful. So, and that's another thing. It's about isolating yourself, keeping yourself disciplined to where you don't even have the temptation to letting people know. And then once that does happen, that it actually becomes more powerful, because you've been working on this in silence. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? It's almost like that rubber band you pull back, and you keep pulling back. The more you pull it back, when you let it go, the force is greater. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I'll go ahead and yield the floor for that. But yeah, I do, and I came off almost an 8-year isolation, just being in a room, and I kind of put this to Dunbar. Dunbar thought I was probably weird. I know you probably didn't, but it was weird. I don't really go anywhere. I kind of stopped going out and stuff like that, because I'm extremely focused on this being great. You're like, this dude don't go nowhere. You really do anything except read books and work on his craft. That's things you got to do, because I do have some goals that I'm trying to accomplish. But I'll yield the floor.
Yeah, Dunbar, go next. I'm formulating my thought here on this. He just called you out anyway, so you go next.
Right.
That's totally fine. I definitely didn't think you were anything like that. Of course, once you put your mind to something, that's what you're gonna do. So I got 3 things from what he said. So first off, I always say this: your upbringing is pretty much where you get your confidence from. He said that, his if I'm not mistaken, he said that his parents, they fed him, enough to make him believe he can do this. And the second part of that is definitely being delusional. And I mentioned this maybe 3 or 4 times already. You have to dream big, because if you don't dream big and you don't feel like you can do it, which is the confidence you're going to get from the upbringing. So if you have the confidence from the upbringing and you believe you can do it, you can probably do anything you want to do. That's just something that is inertia. So if you already dreamed it, if you already think about it, and it's probably going to happen. Third thing is, I don't mind telling folks, some of the things I have cooked up, but you have to make sure that they're equally yoked. You can't tell anybody everything. You can tell some people some things that are in the same mindset that you are, and I think that is powerful. Not everybody has those type of friends. With you, Dixon, when you telling me about the pet land and all that, I figured that you would do it, because whatever you put your mind to, you can do. So I never had a thought to where you would not do it. But that's just what type of person I'm on. I'm on the up and up too. So you can't tell everybody what you want to do, but you can tell some people what you want to do if they are in the same brain waves that you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So from my side of things, I feel like we could spend the entire rest of the show on this one video, to be honest. Like I think we could break down so many things with this concept. How your parents treat you, like how you're raised, how you interact with your siblings, your friends. Did you go, what high school you went to, college? Like there's a lot of things that tie into this thing that could develop or influence your thought process. So for me personally, when it comes to this thing, like I relate to this a lot. I got married at 18. I met the love of my life, got married at 18. So this is my 21st year. I'm 39. So 21st year of marriage here in May. And we got recruited both almost immediately into financial advising. And I'm like, this is so cool. I can change families' lives in teaching them something that no one is really caring to teach them well. And I thought this is it. This is the ticket. Like I'm watching and looking at people making hundreds of thousands a year, millions a year of income, doing this, helping families. I'm like, if I can make hundreds of thousands a year and help families simultaneously, why wouldn't I want to do this? Like, and I was in construction at the time. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, how do I get out of this? How do I do this? How do I serve families? So I worked 70 hours a week for 7 years straight, doing flooring and financial advising, and then every weekend delivering pizzas or whatever too, to try to supplement the income too. So like literally 3 jobs for years trying to make this thing work because I was so focused. Like this guy, like he's saying like, it wasn't about like figuring out the trick shot. Like I would love to do a windmill slam dunk, by the way. That like the windmill slam dunk you mentioned, I'm like, oh, those are like the coolest things ever. I love that specific thing. But I wasn't focused on the extras. I just wanted to get rid of the other jobs. I just wanted to get into this profession and make it. Like I'm trusted. I'm an advisor. I'm making enough money that I can support my family. I'm helping families. I'm doing the right thing. Like I just wanted to make it so I could be done. And that was the fall of 2012 for me. I made 50 grand in 3 months. And I'm like, done. Like everybody else, like, and I was so hyper focused in this time period. I didn't have any, like, I wasn't going to like anything with friends. I wasn't going to anything with family. Like I was in the zone. I have no time. I am building this thing that I want to build. And now I have the freedom to do that, but I didn't have it at the time. So it meant a lot to me to be in that space, focused, not seeing results immediately, but then all of a sudden just watching it just started like compounding all of a sudden. And maybe others have felt this in business too, where it feels like you're struggling, like you're fighting. And maybe even like for me, like I remember there was one year I made 18 grand in the financial advising space. And I'm like, I made it. Like I finally making money. And then the next year I made 15 grand. And I'm like, God, I made even less this year. Like I'm going backwards. And then I made 50 grand in 3 months, and then 100 and 200 and 300 and 400. And it kept going, like, but that takes time. That doesn't happen overnight. You have to be hyper focused on this thing. So I respect anybody willing to put in that kind of work ethic, because that takes a different kind of person. I mean, like that, and we talk about that all the time in business, right? 50% is just showing up and putting in the work. It's not about some great, like crazy, weird thing that you're doing that's a different vision than everybody else or whatever. It's just showing up and doing the work. You want to do this? You go, you focus. You tune out the noise, you tune out the other people, and you focus on it. And I also think inside of our own businesses, this is where, for me personally, this is where lately this has gotten challenging. Is I started, once I got out of my comfort zone and I started learning about what others are doing out there, I started realizing that there's this massive world of others and what they're doing and how cool I could be if I could implement this, change this, add this, do this. And I started sort of building it. But then it got to a point where now it's like everybody thinks they know. Social media is a great example. Like you pick up your phone and, all of us, even right now, like, throwing us under the bus here, we all have our ideas and opinions on this, but everybody's listening to social media and they're distracted. It's hard to focus because they're so distracted on what everybody else is doing and telling them to do. And then they're not thinking through, well, what does this do for me? How does this affect me in my business? So what I've found myself dealing with is, well, this person's doing this, so I'm kind of a failure now because I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this thing over here or that thing over there. And all of a sudden I'm a failure. But in my head, I'm thinking, but I'm not, because I'm doing really, really well in this area, and this area, and this area. So I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know. Just this guy's here. The whole coming back to, landing this plane with the video is he's like, I was focused on basketball, the NBA, getting here, doing this, block out the noise. And everybody else probably had ideas of like, well, if you change your game with this and you do this and you change this and you do that, if he listened to that, it would have distracted him. So could we all benefit from maybe less distractions? I'm going to land that plane on that. Less distractions in life. As stupid as it sounds, get off of these things you're watching us on right now and stop watching everything, but find people you align with, hopefully us, that you want to continue to follow and work with.
Right. Before we get to any more commentary, I want to make sure y'all please like the video. Also, please comment we will read the comments live here. So if you got any questions, comments for any of the panelists, please put it in the comment box and we'll read it live here. I just want to say this I think you got to fine tune everything that you do. I think if you want to be a superior athlete, you have to fine tune what you put in your body, right? And your mind. I think in business, you got to fine tune what you do with your mind, your body, and your spirit, all three, in order to make it. So that's why business is so hard to make it, because you got to be hyper focused. So I think you got to, keep your body in tune, because fatigue does play a factor. I know a couple of weeks ago we talked about is conditioning. If you're not in good shape or you're a coward, because what happens when you get fatigued, you start making mistakes. So you got to be in great shape. I think the content that you actually take in, I think it needs to be fine tuned. Watch the Power of Ownership podcast, and that'll get your mind on the business, your mind on your money, and your money on your mind. And watch stuff like Joe Rogan and stuff that's educational. But if you're watching brain rot stuff, or if you're eating junk food, or if you're not fine tuning your spirituality, and what I say from the first show on to now, you're not going to get to where you're going to go without help from the higher powers, from above. So that has to be aligned. So you're not going to do it on your own. So if you're trying to manifest things, you're trying to make stuff happen here, and you're not aligned with a superior power, good luck with it. But everything has to be aligned, all three things. So watch good stuff and put in good food, and mental food is that as well. So I'll say that. But anybody else want to kind of comment on what Dave was saying as far as where he pointed the conversation?
No, I just know we've been on this one for 20 minutes, so this is a good show.
This was a good one.
I know that. I know that.
Right, this was a good one. So let's go ahead to the next one. If y'all don't have anything further, I think this was a pretty good one. So let's go into the next one here. Don't forget, subscribe, people. Like and subscribe.
Clear glass divider into a tank. On one side, a barracuda, hunter, killer, apex. On the other, small fish, lunch, swimming right in front of him. The barracuda saw food, charged, bam, invisible wall, stunned, back off. Charged again, bam, harder this time, scales flew, head spun. Again, bam, until he stopped, curled in the corner, shaking, defeated. Then the scientist lifted the glass. Small fish swam right up to the barracuda's face, touched his mouth, danced in front of his teeth. The barracuda didn't move, starving, trembling, food everywhere, but he saw only the wall that wasn't there. Days later, the predator starved in the middle of a feast. That's the barracuda effect. It's not ability that kills you, It's learned helplessness. The belief that because you failed once, you'll always fail. That glass? It's a mental block. It's shattered long ago. You just keep acting like it's still there. One rejection, and every door looks locked. One fall, and every step feels like a cliff. You don't try anymore. You've already decided the outcome before starting. But here's the truth. The barrier is gone. No one's stopping you. Only you. Stop staring at old scars. Open your mouth. Bite. That invisible wall you're still afraid of? It's been gone for years. A scientist slid a clear glass.
All right, so I'll go first on this one. Let's go back in our natural order. This is layered as well. This is another one we could spend an hour on, but I'll make it brief here. This happens a lot, especially in our community, about victimhood mentality, and being gun shy is what I call it. We are afraid of the boogeyman, and the boogeyman is in our mind. And so we talk about outcomes that don't even exist. And things that you're afraid of that, all right, where have you seen this before? I haven't. You've seen it on TV. You've seen it on old clips. Have you seen it in real life? No. Okay, so what is stopping you from making these moves? I'll give you an example. And I had this conversation last week with a young guy. I was talking about Black-owned businesses. He's like, yeah, man, you see what they did to Tulsa? Bro, that was 100 years ago. Over 100 years ago. Are you serious? So the glass ceilings, the glass walls have been removed. This is a total different time. So you're afraid to open your business. You're afraid to take a risk because of something that happened 100 years ago. Seriously. But it's happened, and I have this conversation a lot. See, every time we build something, they come tear it down. It's 100 years ago, bro. So why? And just to broaden it out, just to make it more universal, I hear a lot of people that I talk to, and I come across, one of the biggest factors, one of the biggest fears that they have is something that they made up. They made their own boogeyman. So I asked him, well, what was stopping you? It's well, such and such, such and such. And you could hear the defeat in their voice, like beforehand, like, all right, where have you seen this? And they almost get upset at you when you clear out. And I'm telling you, there's no glass there. It's something in your mind, and they almost get upset. It's like they almost want to not take the risk because I guess it feels better to starve to death. Hey, I'm starving here. We had that clip last week where the guy didn't want to take the job. It almost feels better not to act, because what act takes risk, and it takes motion and takes effort and stuff like that. So this is the juxtaposed to the clip that we just looked. People get hyper focused. That's what you need to take business. Some people are even scared to put in the work because you're trying to predict the result, and you're scared of the result not going favorable. But that's part of the game. Failure is part of the actual process. So if you can't be free. You can't be a boxer. Man, I don't want to get hit. I want to punch people, but I don't want them to punch me because because if I get so that's part of the process. You're going to get hit, and you're going to hit people. But the idea is to hit the person more the way he falls down. So I'll go ahead and use the floor from there.
Would it be me next, or would it be Cal?
Yeah, Cal, whatever. Have y'all want to go round robin?
All right. Well, if we're going this way, so I think consumers in general right now, in general, just very, very fearful of, in our world of mortgage, real estate, business, scared to take that leap, scared to do the next thing, scared to do whatever they need to do because of whatever XYZ thing happened in life, or something they read online. They Google search something, they listen to a well-intentioned friend or family member that told them something that isn't quite true, but maybe there's a grain of salt of truth in it, and they run with that, and then they think, well, this is the way it's going to be. Like and it's funny, like doing consultations with clients all the time. Like I hear this stuff of, well, I already know this, and I already think this, and I already know that this is probably the better way to do it, and this is probably isn't going to work for me. And like, I just today I had 2 consultations with individuals that said that to me. Both consultations, they said that to me. And I'm just thinking, like, where are you researching this stuff? Like, where did you come up with this? Like, who are you talking to? Like, none of this is true even. But they've convinced themselves before the call, don't worry, you don't even need to talk with me about this. I already know this. And I think that's common for anyone in the business space that's, coaching clients, coaching consumers on just these types of concepts. What's more interesting to me, though, is the defeatist attitude, this Barracuda mindset, this defeatist attitude among colleagues, business professionals, is a great example. Like, I'm in the mortgage industry, and unfortunately, people buy homes exactly backwards. They pick the pretty house, they call a realtor, and then they figure out how they're going to pay for it last, which is exactly the opposite order you should do. And you should go figure out your money, then pick a realtor, then go look at pretty house. But everybody does it backwards. So unfortunately, we're at the mercy of realtors, and they are usually ones that refer to us in the mortgage space. But most realtors don't want to do anything. They're scared. They don't want to do anything to get out of their comfort zone. They're used to, well, it used to be this way, and then I failed, and it's not working now because of this, that, or the other, because of the market and the industry, and they want to start making excuses and blaming things on this. But then they won't try. They won't take a call. They won't answer their texts. They won't check an email. They won't send stuff to their clients. They won't communicate. And then I'm thinking, like, it's no wonder you're not closing any transactions as a business owner, because you're not putting in the work. You've given up. Like, it was good for you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but now you're resting on your laurels of, I was good back in my day. And for some of these agents, it's 30 plus years. Back in my day, I was amazing. I was the #1 realtor. But now they're not. And there's this ego on them. And then they're thinking, well, but I'm scared, so I'm not going to do anything. And then they're not. And that's why I think the stat, I forget where the article was, but it was a stat last year. It's like 76, I think it's 74 or 76%, something like that, of realtors did not sell a single home last year in all of the nation. Why? It's not because there's a lack of inventory. It's not because there's a lack of opportunity. It's because of a lack of work ethic, a lack of communication, a lack of mental clarity on what needs to happen, the growth mindset. So being able to just get out of your comfort zone, I think, is a huge piece of it, and not letting setbacks affect your future decisions. Like, if you know you are a hunter, you're a barracuda, this is what you do. Like, you're going to grow, you're going to build. Yeah, you might have a setback. You pick up and you go again. That's not something you don't just give up and rest or leave. You keep going. So I love the analogy, though, the barracuda mindset. I see it all the time, and it was cool to watch that video beforehand in preparation for this here, of just seeing how they translate that into the analogy. So that's my thought.
Dunbar, I think you're next on there.
All right. So I think that, and I don't think we played the hero. Maybe we did. Being an athlete really helps with perseverance, because you're not going to win every game. So you able to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and move on. And another thing, you have to change your mindset on losses. A loss is just an opportunity for improvement. It's something that you should look back on and see, okay, what did I do wrong? What could have been done differently to get a different result? And I think a lot of people don't want to do that. They just want to move to the next client or the next business, and not actually learn from what happened that was quote unquote a failure. So I think that comes down to, like I said earlier, your upbringing and your ability to be delusional, and your ability to actually persevere, which is definitely is definitely upbringing, I think. But yeah, as far as, do you set your own mental boundaries? You do, but they are set from a upbringing standpoint. And if you have experience with any type of sport, you know that you're not going to win everything and that you can learn from your failures.
Gotcha, Cal. What you got on it?
Yeah, I've got. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's
Yes,
better.
sir.
Okay, I got it. So I've got just a couple points. Number one, it reminds me of that Joseph Campbell quote: "The cave you fear hides the treasure you seek." Going back to Brandon, what you were saying earlier about fear itself. Whenever the shutdown happened in 2020, all the gyms were closing down. Majority of them. That was one of the hot spots of shutdown because
Right.
we thought we were a necessity, whereas the government thought we were just an amenity. So there was a huge kind of war going on. And we decided to actually launch our franchise in the height of the pandemic. So we launched in 2020 and we were able to bring on 16 locations in 2020 because of the fear of the pandemic and how businesses were going. So we did the opposite of what the rest of the world did. And because of that, doing that opposite, we were rewarded. So the rest of the world saw the glass and they said, oh, I can't bump into that. I got all these rules. I got all these limitations. We saw the opportunity. So instead of allowing fear to constrict you, you actually want to lean into what it is that you're fearful of. And that can translate as something simple as calling more people. You know, some people are just so scared of rejection, they don't even pick up the phone and dial. It's like, well, how many calls you make today? I made 5. Well, make 100 and come back to me. And they're
Exactly.
like, what? Like 100? It's like, yeah, dude, pick up the phone, call 100 people. Can you send out 100 emails today? And their mind's blown. And it's like the thing you're fearing, that confrontation or that connection with people, that's the one thing that's keeping you from getting to that next level. If you move towards it, you're going to grow. If you back away from that fear, then you're always going to stay spiraling like that barracuda in that circle and then eventually die out. The second point is I love the contrast between the first video and the second video. Actually, I think it's an amazing contrast because one is, let me get a little philosophical here, but one is masculine energy. So the first one is very masculine. So drive, grit, determination. Whereas this one's a lot of feminine energy, as in like creativity, fear, emotions, things of that nature. So this one reminds me a lot of like going back to Dunbar's comments, like childhood trauma and like deep trauma and realizing where that fear of rejection comes from and who is that hostile voice inside of your head whenever you do fail. Is it your parents? Is it your mom? Is it your dad reminding you how you've always been a failure and this business idea was never going to work? And, you know, we all have those voices in our heads, but it's the, can we choose to move past them, integrate them, and become something more? I think the root of it going, and we're all in business. So I think the root of it is when you have a failure and you externalize the failure to an outside source, that is where the opening of the trauma begins. And it could be anything. It could be like the economy. It could be like, oh, I mean, that person was just a bad lead, whatever. The moment you externalize your failure, you give your power away and you get stuck in a loop. I remember when I was training sales with all my team, the one thing I would tell them is that I don't care if the guy's homeless. After every sale, you should reflect on what you could have done better. I don't care if they were homeless. They had no money. It should be a reflection. Could I have said this better? Could I have changed this? And by that little switch with every interaction and every action, that will change the trajectory of your life because you're no longer a victim of your circumstances, everything you're taking ownership from. Even if it seemed impossible, because you know what? I have signed up a homeless person before.
Right. Well, you got to take a shower, right?
Yeah. I got showers at the gym, man. You want to take a shower? Hey, dude, this is a cheap way. You don't have to get a hotel.
So, hey, sell them something.
Yeah. And so that breaks your beliefs, right? Those little moments where you do have those kind of successes you didn't think would happen. that breaks your beliefs and that makes you leave that victimhood behind, because you're like, I could do this. But then you look around at everybody else, you're like, oh, everybody's making the excuses for the thing I ended up doing. This is crazy. I feel like I'm in another world now.
Right. Yeah, man. Great insight. That's what I say. Like, I'm glad to have you on the panel, man. Like, you seen the underlying theme of what I was doing as far as putting them back to back. But yeah, I definitely wholeheartedly agree on that. And yeah, I mean, nothing much need to be said on that, unless anybody want to comment. Don't forget, like and subscribe to videos. Please ask us some questions. We love the feedback. We love the engagement as well. We love to answer your questions in between these clips. Also, what I want to do since we kind of in the middle right now, I want to bring up our BDM program. Don't forget, if you're looking for a side hustle, you want to get paid for the conversation of talking about mortgages. And if you're in a realtor, if you're a title company or anything like that, if you want to get paid for a mortgage conversation, we have this BDM program, which is Business Development Manager. Get on my Calendly here. That's what the QR code is here. Get on there and we'll talk about it. So we're paying. We got some way you could make some money. Let me go ahead and run a commercial here real quick for 30 seconds, and then we'll be right back with the actual next clip. So if I can find it here, where did it go? Damn, hold on.
You had it last time.
Yeah, I had it. Here it is. I found it. All right, let's run it. If you're a realtor and you're not getting paid for the mortgage conversations you're already having, we need to talk. You're speaking to buyers, sellers, past clients, your sphere every single day. And every time financing comes up, you're creating opportunity, but you're earning zero from it. At Nexa Lending, we've built a compliant business development manager program that lets you get paid for the business you generate without becoming a loan officer. No licensing, no quoting rates, no collecting docs. You simply connect people. We handle the mortgage. You get paid as a W-2 business development employee. Refinances, your CRM, your sphere, other agents you introduce. You're already creating the business, now you monetize it. If you're serious about adding a real additional income stream this year, click the link, message me directly, and let's get you activated in under 10 minutes. Right. So yeah, if you're looking for an extra side hustle, you want to make some extra income this year, hit the QR code and we have some work for you. You have to sign up for W-2 and I'll go over the ins and outs with you. So you're looking for an extra way to make some income.
I just enrolled a realtor today on this again. So
yeah, come on with it. No licensing required, so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and run to this next clip since we have don't have anything else. So let's go ahead and run to this next one.
If you walked away from a real Rolex just because it looked like a scam. That's exactly what happened in this experiment. People walked past a real Rolex, sold for pennies on a random street stand, because no one believed a real Rolex could ever show up there. It was a social experiment, a legit Rolex sitting in plain sight, labeled like some discount deal. But the context was off. Wrong place, wrong vibe, wrong price. So the brain went straight to one word: fake. They did not question the watch. They question the story around it. This happens all the time. Pour cheap wine in a fancy bottle and suddenly it tastes better. Put a world-class violinist in the subway and no one stops. Value is not fixed. It's tied to the setting. And that value, it gets assigned by a story, context, presentation. You see, here's the part most people miss. That Rolex did not lose its value. It just looked like it did not belong. A luxury store cannot survive in a bargain bin setup. Your customer does not really see quality. They see cues, price tags, fonts, background noise, the vibe of the place. Even a $10,000 product feels fake in the wrong setting. The context can make anything feel like a knockoff, and that is where most brands get trapped. So ask yourself, does your service look like it's worth what you charge? Does your packaging feel like the experience you promise? Is your space online or offline telling the right story? Because if your brand feels out of place, people will walk right past it, even if it's the real thing. So before you upgrade the product, upgrade the context. Tag a brand that nails that feeling of value with something simple. Someone might find their next obsession from your tag. How dumb would you?
Bam. Forgot who is it, Dunbar or is it David who's first on this one?
I think I think it's me first.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay. This actually reminds me. So I'm in the mortgage industry, and this reminds me very much of this industry because how do you separate that? Like, if you're a consumer, if you're a buyer, how do you pick your mortgage person? There's only one thing most people ever say: whoever's showing the lowest rate on a piece of paper, as if that's actually the thing, not realizing that that's not how rates work. But it's the perception of, well, my bank has this online company has this independent company has this broker has this. How do you know what's good? Where's the value? In your mind, you're thinking, what's the rate? Because that's the only thing the internet tells you. And there's a perception here, difference of value versus cost and service and all these other things. But how do you actually separate that? And that was something that years ago, I started realizing very quickly in my career, many years ago, that you have to differentiate yourself in whatever space you're in. It doesn't matter what industry it is. You have to have a differentiating factor. Why use you, your unique selling proposition, or USP, or also called the UVP, unique value proposition sometimes? You have to have that thing honed in perfectly. If somebody asked you right now, why use you, Brandon or Cal or other Brandon here? Why? Can you answer that question? In 30, 60 seconds, can you answer why? They should use you over everybody else. And that's something that it took me a minute to figure that out, of like, well, what is my brand? Like, what do I want people to know about me? And I've honed it down into that now. But if, depending on the person, and like, if you're coming in, great example is if I get a call and I have a client that says, I've already talked to this lender, this lender, this lender, this lender, and you're my fifth one now in the list. Well, fifth one in the list, like, at that point, I already know I'm white noise. Like, why are you calling me? So immediately at that point, I have to change up the game. I've got to come at this a completely different way if I want to stand out. Like, if I just do the same thing everybody else has done from here, of showing a rate on a piece of paper, which is what 90+%, 95% of my colleagues do, I'm not going to be any different. I can make up whatever I want, just like they can, but it doesn't make any difference. If I want to stand out, I have to understand, what are they really looking for? Why do you want to do this now? What's happening? What are your goals? What's your mindset look like? What does your monetary situation look like? Your financial picture? Ask good questions and then break this thing down. And then once you break down the situation, now you can frame it better. If you don't have the right frame, then your message is going to get lost. You have to frame it first, then your message. If you're just giving the message, you're just white noise. So I like his point of this. And he mentioned the violin in the subway. That's one of my favorite videos ever, is Joshua Bell. My wife and I have seen him 5 times in concert, I think. Joshua Bell. He's a world famous violinist. He went into a subway, did that exact thing. He started just playing just on the side, and everybody thought he was just some homeless guy playing on the side. The like lead violinist in the world. And he's playing there, and no one realizes it. And no one cares. They didn't see the value because there was no frame for it. He wasn't in the massive auditorium with the tickets and the advertising and all that ahead of time. He was just playing in the subway. So depending on where you are, changes, and how you frame this thing changes how it's going to be perceived. And so I like his comments, and I firmly agree with that.
Gotcha. Dunbar.
Yeah. So what I got from this is, so scenario, I had this lady that was a veteran. She was initially reached out to me to rent a house. When we started talking, she was not surrounded by homeowners. Families just they rented, and she was a seasoned lady herself. When we started talking, I realized that you could own a home. So just because your close circle doesn't own a home, you can own a home. And I converted her from a renter to a homeowner. And so I think that it comes down with, to me, it comes with experience, and it comes with a pretty much experience. Because if you hear something that you know is going to work for somebody, even though their environment says otherwise, you should be able to discern that and communicate that with that person, and let them know that you don't have to be a part of the environment that you're in, because you don't you qualify for things, right? So that's what I took from it. It's one of those things to where in business, even if the person is not qualified, and that's why I love working with Dixon, and you put them on a path for success, right? Because they might not be exactly ready now, but they are 4 out of 5%. They're 87% ready. So talking to somebody like in your breath with Dixon and you, Mr. David, you can get them on the right path, because they might only need to pay off 2 things, or they might only need to get one credit card. And that's what I took from it. You have to be able to take people from their environment and upgrade them, because you know that they can do it in a certain sense. That's what I got for that one.
Gotcha. Cal, what do you think about the clip as far as the Rolex and the bootleg stand?
Yeah, it's great. The first thought that came to my mind, Elf on a Shelf.
Elf on the Shelf.
Yeah, Elf on the Shelf. Every year you're supposed to put the elf up. It's got like
okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And then
Christmas, Dixon, Christmas.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So it's like you put the elf up. Basically, the way it goes, it's got a little book. You're supposed to put the elf somewhere different every night, and it's supposed to tell a story about like what happened with the elf. And the kids love the imagination, so you do little funny things with it. But the reason why I bring that up is because the Elf on the Shelf doll is like a $5 doll, if not less than that. But what makes it a multi-million-dollar empire is the story that's told behind it. Just the story of the elf, right, made it a multi-million-dollar empire. So it's just a little doll, but the story behind it made it super successful. And I think it's the same thing when we're engaging with clients and we're engaging in business. It's not necessarily about what you offer, like features and benefits. It's also like how you make people feel and the story you connect them with. Going back to David's point and Dunbar's point, you made people feel like they could become more in your presence, or they could purchase more in your presence. They thought they were a renter and now they're becoming a buyer. So you made them change their story by your own internal beliefs in them, which I think is super powerful. I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were kind of getting into a philosophical debate about like what came first, the king or the kingdom. And I firmly believe that the kingdom comes first, and then the king rises from the kingdom. And I think that a lot of change and transformation comes simply from being in an environment and creating an environment, and that is what creates the change. You don't have to create the change itself. You just have to set up the environment for change to happen. And it's the same thing whenever somebody comes into a consultation with you. By the questions you ask, by the intent you give, you're setting up that frame and you're setting up that story for them to walk into, to where now they can become something more. They can become a buyer. They can become, for me, it's like a next level athlete they never thought they could be. They could become drug-free. Maybe they're on medications, but when they sit with me, they see there's possibility of something more. So now they're not worried about the features or the benefits or like what your, I get that. Like, how much are your prices? Like, tell me all your benefits. Cool. Can you just send me a packet? Like, I get it all the time. But because
No.
exactly.
No.
Exactly. basically they have to have a consultation with, like, yeah, sure, sit down with me. I'll go over everything with you. And then by the time they sit down with me, they forget what questions they even wanted to ask, because we get so deep into their vision, their goals, where they want to go with their life, that they're like, you know what? I thought I came here for one thing, which was low rates, cheap deals. But really, I came in here because you opened my eyes to see that there's so much more I could be. And I think that's the power of being in business, and that's the power of creating your brand, is that you do widen people by opening up to their story, by sharing yours as well, kind of like we're doing here.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
What I took, I'm gonna get kind of urban on my response here. I'm gonna make two references, both of them like kind of urban here. It's all about the framing on. I want to do a Bill Cosby story, and then I want to do a Biggie Smalls Notorious B.I.G. story as well. So even if you don't know who they are, Bill Cosby is probably one of the.
They're just too young.
Yeah, Bill Cosby, was popular. He got in trouble, whatever. But he had a show in the '80s called The Cosby Show, and what he said on The Cosby Show, he had this quick story. He was like, "Hey, what's your favorite restaurant?" And the kid said, hibachi, right? And so he said, all right, well, imagine we had a hibachi restaurant, and they got the ambiance, they got the Oriental music going in the back, and then they got the steam going and they're flipping the shrimp, and you're catching it, and then he all of a sudden presents the dish on a flaming plate, and it's all seasoned and all that. How would you like your meal? It's like, oh, I love it. All right, let's take that same meal and let me take this garbage pail lid and put it on there. It's the same meal, but let me just put it on the back of a garbage pail. How would you want to eat it now? Like, hell no, that's disgusting. So it's all in the presentation, what makes the actual meal enjoyable. So it's all on how you present it. You can have the best service in the world, but if you're not presenting it right, you're not telling the story, like Cal said. My mentor, Mattress Mac, always used to say this: untold is unsold. So you got to tell the story. So like David alluded to earlier with the guy, if he had a sign say, "I'm the world famous such and such, Google me," and as people started to Google, they'll start spreading, "Hey, that's such and such." He would have probably garnered that crowd that he wanted. But since nobody knew the context of what he was doing, nobody paying him attention. So it's all perceived value. It's all a mental. I want to tie this to this last story. Big Pun is another rapper who passed. Both of these guys are dead. They were, super big guys, but they're in the 90s. But these guys are my size or bigger. Big Pun was like 500 pounds. He's a Puerto Rican guy, and he lost 100 pounds. He still was like 400 pounds. And Notorious Big, probably my size, probably maybe a little bit shorter than me. I think he's like 5'10". But both of these guys were in the 90s were sex symbols. They had the ladies, and Pun said he learned it from Biggie. Like, hey, like, how do you guys are so big? How you guys get all the ladies? How you guys are ladies, man? He's like, hey, I learned from Big. He said, if that's what I present, that's what the people are gonna expect. So on the cover, he had women on the cover. He always had women with him. So people thought he was a ladies' man, and it stuck. No matter how out of shape these guys were, but it was the presentation that made them, and it stuck. So whatever you want to be, you have to look the part. You have to be the part. You have to actually show people that you're the part. How you going to sell high end and you're hopping out a 82 Yugo? How you gonna sell high end and you have hole in your shoes, and you're not well groomed. You pull up, smelling like outside and stuff like that. It's just not gonna fly. So you got to look the part. You got to tell the part. Hey, this is my resume. You got to have this 30-second, 45-second elevator pitch to where you are going and what you represent, and you got to have the reviews to back that up. That's why we're doing the Power of Ownership podcast. That's why you could Google me, and I have tons of content. Is that, hey, I've been doing content for a while. You can look me up and see what I stand for. You can look up and you can hear me talk, and then decide from there if there's just something that you want to be a part of. And what you see from me is you're going to see a lot of stuff that makes sense. You know, so if you listen to me talk, you're gonna see a lot of stuff, positive stuff that makes sense, and that's what I'm putting out in the world. And then that's where I want to market. That's who I'm calling to. Your vibe is your tribe. So I have the credentials. Hey, look, I got social media. I got the following. These guys are following me for a reason. You know, so you gotta have it make sense.
Could I add just one thing to this whole thing?
I got one thing too.
Okay.
Right.
The Power of Ownership podcast. So that's the name of the title, right? That's the name.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that we, as business owners and leaders in our respective spaces and fields, we need to do a good job in as well. We need to help lead families and clients and consumers to this concept, because we can create that power of ownership for them. This is something that then they in turn can perpetuate and help others with. Like, this is not an exclusive thing that we figured out. I mean, like, anybody can take ownership of their lives. That's the previous videos we watched as well, is ownership of your mentality, ownership of your work ethic. Take ownership and then pass this on and help others. Get out of your head. Stop this barracuda effect. Just jump in and go. I know you failed 10 years ago, but try again. Call Cal. He'll help you. Call Dixon. Call Dunbar. One of these guys will help you. Just do it. Go. Keep going.
You spurred a thought here before you go. I wanted to say this, that my brand, if you look at it, like Nike selling determination, McDonald's is selling convenience, I sell perseverance. You know, look at me. I'm not what you think an intellectual guy would be. I'm not what you typically think would be a successful businessman. I'm not what you typically think would be on this type of frequency, but I am, and I've been doing it for 9 years as far as the, perseverance. And then, like I said, I'm never naturally good at anything, but I work at it. And I would keep on at it until I make it, and I embody that. So that's what I embody. Like, hey, I'm not a natural at anything, but I just work hard and I stay delusional. Go ahead, Dumbo.
Yeah, just a jab at you. Yeah, I definitely would have got 3 sacks on you in a game if I saw you in college. But right. I'm just jabbing you. Right. So what I was saying about what you mentioned, Big Pun and BIG, you alluded to it already. They were masters at their field, so it didn't matter how they looked. It mattered how they had how people reacted to them. And so since they were so good at their crafts, it didn't matter how they looked. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Dixon, and you just kind of mentioned about, of course, showing up dressed how you for the event. But then I mentioned, like, when it comes down to the nitty gritty, it's all about what you know. So I get dressed when I really need to. I know everything that I need to know all the time. But it's all about your it's all about your mastering. It's all about being a master at your craft. If you're a master at your craft, it doesn't matter how you look.
I would put some pushback on that, but we got limited time. We're already at 1:08.
Hey, real quick. Here's a great example. The Brandons, look at their facial hair, and then look at what Cal and I are trying to do here with ours.
Right.
And but we're persevering, right, Cal? Like, we're trying really hard to make this thing work.
To kind of go at that a little bit, though, but I would argue that you had other rappers that were actually skilled as well, but they weren't considered ladies' men. So they have people at the pinnacle of their, their top tier rappers. That don't mean they have the ladies. So but Pun and Biggie deliberately, if you look at their album, they had skits, they had the album cover, they had the video. That's what they were portraying, and it stuck. They don't forget that marketing is create a market. That's who they market it to.
Gotcha.
So but other than that, let's go. We got 2 more clips, so let's go ahead and run it. We're making good time, actually. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe, please. We got 2 hearts so far. We need please hit the like button, man. We got 6 people watching across various.
We need 1 million more.
Yeah, we need a lot more. Please. Come on with it. Let's go ahead to this next one here. Bam.
Goalie,
Biggest.
you're the biggest.
You better believe it, the biggest. Heavy marinara.
Can I do a quick interview with you?
Of course you can.
How old were you when you made your first $1 million?
28,
How old are you today?
50,
You've been a millionaire for a long time.
long time.
How'd you make that first million?
Music,
But besides music, business has made you tons of millions. Does Rick Ross ever plan on becoming a billionaire?
of course.
How will he do it?
Next year and a half, 2 years maybe.
And growing up, one of your first jobs you had was washing cars, am I right?
Yeah, 13.
Today, one of your most best-selling products is actually one of the best car wash soaps in the world.
Right, car care, slippery soap in the auto zone right now.
And if there's a young kid that are watching this video, they want to get to the next level in business, how do they do it?
Man, you got to just know you got to outwork everybody you know. Enjoy it. Hard work don't mean it's nothing that you'll hate. Just have a little fun doing it. Play your best songs while it's going down. Do this, do that. Do it with the ones you care about most. You'll thank yourself later when you're in the penthouse of the building, when you have your butler, when you want lemonade. No. Seltzer water with fresh squeezed lemon. Yeah, it's like that.
And at what point in your career did you tell yourself that you made it?
By the time I maybe was 35,
Why is that?
I had so many different things going up. I knew I couldn't all this up.
Do you know today how many businesses you own today?
I have over 30 partnerships.
And if there's a kid watching this video, they own their own business at home, they're looking for an investor and they want to go to you. What do you look for in them?
How hard are you really working? Do you really believe yourself? It's not even about do I believe in you. It's a lot of times I've seen people that I believed in and ultimately they didn't believe in themselves. And that's why the business failed. The same way you took the initiative to come out here and stand in this parking lot right now, that same initiative will take you and make you the CEO of the biggest fucking company in this city.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
Dunbar,
Yeah.
I think you're first this time.
Dunbar.
Okay. That's big fun.
For sure you're gonna go with every day I'm hustling.
Right. So, hey, that was a good segue with Ross. Ross is another one who's considered I don't know if Ross is considered a sex symbol, but he kind of took the
He's
big
got some
guy
cool
mantra.
songs.
Right.
Purple Lamborghini.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't really, but so to dwell on this one, so I think a lot of people want instant gratification. They want to start something and it automatically be successful, and they don't want to put in the work. Like Ross said, he started off watching cars. You know what I mean? But in his mind, he knew that I'm going to be successful. Even though I'm starting here with watching people cars, eventually I'm going to manifest something that is going to be beneficial to myself and my family as far as a monetary standpoint. So I think that a lot of people want the instant gratification. They want the microwave effect, and that's just not how it is with any business. And it sucks that some people get into businesses that are not bad, good business plans, but once they fail a couple of times, they can't bounce back, and they don't want to work harder because they feel like they already failed. And another thing, you're not going to be, unless you already have a spoon in your mouth that's silver, which is I am not knocking that. It's going to take you some time. You're not going to be a 29-year-old and a millionaire. That's not going to, it might take you to 60. It might take you to 75. It might take you to 41. But what you have to do is you have to not give up, and you have to learn from your failures. So working hard is great, and you should do it, but you also have to work smart, especially when you're dealing with business that is going to have ebbs and flows, right? So you got to learn from the ebbs, and you got to maximize the flows. So that's what
I like it.
Cal, I'm actually here, but go ahead. I didn't want I'm going to WhatsApp, so when I go in WhatsApp, actually it slows it down. So I didn't want to drag here.
No, you're good. I'm gonna give a little bit of pushback to Rick Ross on this, because I'm not a big work hard guy, and the reason why I say that is I work with a lot of I guess you could say flowering CEOs, people that are growing into their business, whether it's building multiple locations, whether it's starting a franchise. And the hardest jump to make for any entrepreneur is to go from hustler to CEO. I feel that because in the hustler mindset, you are like a mercenary. You have no leader. You're a solopreneur. You're out there just eating what you kill. But when you go to the CEO mindset, there's every decision is like life or death. You could literally make or break your business by the slightest insight. You have to fire somebody, you have to hire a certain character, you have to train employees. It all changes at that point. So going back to what Dunbar was saying, like you have to have that infusion of work smart. Like that has to be in there as you're working hard. So I always like when I hear the Kevin Harts or the I'm more of a Cat Williams guy, but when I hear the Kevin Harts or the Rick Ross people,
That's the Rick Ross, the grocery cart.
yeah. I'm more of a
Every day.
Cat Williams guy. I'm more of a Cat, and the reason why I say I'm more of a Cat Williams guy because he's got that flavor, like he's got that creative spark. He's got that. The hustle's there, but it's like he has this whole other layer to him that he kind of breaks down for people when it comes to creativity. I think as early as you can, I think in Think and Grow Rich they talk about this, but you have to develop a burning desire before you develop the work ethic. And the burning desire, I would say, is the seed of a dream. So even if you listen to Rick Ross, what he's saying in the beginning, like he became a famous musician first before he did any of that other stuff. He unlocked that creative potential inside of his brain. And by him having the work ethic plus the creative potential, those two things are what made him what he is. It's not going to be just working hard because I know people that work to the bone. They can never make over 100 grand a year. They can never make over 60 grand a year because they don't have that creative spark to see opportunities. And I want to tie this all the way back to the beginning clip we watched about the guy who got into the NBA. He won an NBA lottery. There's something in him, creativity, some form of creative act that got him to that point because he wasn't looking at the scouts. He wasn't looking at the linear path. He said, there's a crooked road over here that I could just segue or backstep into it. Anybody ever seen Ready Player One?
It's
Yeah,
on my watch list, and it's been there for like years.
Such a great movie. So like, I don't want to give any spoilers, but so
Please
basically, I'm gonna give you just this one thing, and this one lesson that's in there. So maybe it'll prompt you to watch it. But there's this one lesson in there where they have to beat this racing game. And every time they go on the racing game, they always die because there's a giant gorilla at the end and he kills everybody. So what he decides to do is he gets all these clues and he's like, instead of going forwards, I'm just going to go backwards. And he goes backwards and there's a secret track when you go backwards that takes him straight to the goal line and he ends up winning the game just by him going the opposite way of everybody else. And I think that right there, if you combine that with the hard work, you'll be unstoppable. But you do have to have that creative backdoor loophole passion that'll get you to that next level. At least from my experience, that's what I had to do. I had to think creatively to get to where I am today. And if I look back at my life, I can honestly say that nobody, not even myself, could have predicted the path I am on right now.
Right. I would give a little bit of pushback, but I'm agreeing with you at the same time on this because I know this is one of the last ones. I know you got to go, so I'm gonna make it brief here. I think when you talk about work, it's all three elements. Don't forget it. You said asking you shall receive, seeking you shall find, knocking the door shall be opened unto you. Right. So that's all. That's the 3-step process. So the ask is your meditation and your prayer. The seek is going to be your research and your creativity. And then the knock is the actual action. So when we talk about work hard, it's all three. Am I firing on all cylinders on all three? So can I do creative is not only working. I think they might be working hard on the action wise, but are you creating new paths to reinvent yourself?
Yeah.
Are you these things are changing? Are you meditating? Are you asking for different things as things change? Are you concentrating on things as they change? So all this is a work in progress. So am I working hard on all facets of the creative being, of actually being where I want to go? And a lot of people, we talked about this on a couple podcasts ago, that we're looking at the now, but you always have to look in the future. What's good now, that 100,000 in 20 years is going to be 10,000. So you're making 100,000 now, but is that enough to retire on? Don't forget that each year you have to increase your business. Inflation is getting more expensive. Things are getting more expensive. Is your grind getting better? Is your hustle getting better? Is your business getting better to compensate for the increasing expenses? Are you looking 10 years ahead of time? So what's good now, that's not going to cut it 10 years from now. So you got to constantly reinvent yourself. So when I say working hard, are you working hard for the future you? Because don't forget, as you become a seedling, that cup might not be good. Now I got to go to a pot. As I grow a little bit more, now I got to go to the ground. As I get to, so am I preparing for the ground, or am I still looking at this cup? Because you're gonna go outgrow that cup real quick. Does that make sense? So when I talk about working hard, is you gotta be creative as well. That's part of the work. Because think about it, those bills ain't gonna stop. Those bills ain't gonna stop. Yeah, the struggles, the trials and tribulations, the setbacks, those are not gonna stop. Those are lessons. Are you preparing for those lessons? And I'll yield the floor from there.
Yeah, I'll just say one thing on that.
Yeah, go ahead. You had a comment. Go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick. Like, you're 100% right. Because, like, working hard, if you're just looking at it from a material standpoint, like, I'm going to show up, I'm going to work 70 hours a week, like, you're going to keep on that grinding wheel and you're never going to get off. But if you're grinding to become a better person, like mind, body, spirit, like, there is nothing that can stop you from getting to where you want to go, because you're working on a level higher than any competitor you have. Because that's what everybody else is doing. If you're working on yourself that hard, sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want.
And there's the nutshell what the Power of Ownership podcast is.
Well, and then I got I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3. Once you get experience in your craft, you know how to compartmentalize people that you come across, because some people are ready in 2 months, some people are ready in 6 months, some people are ready in 3 years. But if you're spending your time on this person that's ready in 3 years, you really doing yourself a disservice and them, and not getting them on the right track. So working hard is one of the things that you do when you first get into business. You just take anything that you can get. But once you get more experience in your craft, you're able to sort out where to put your energy at and where to work hard at.
Right. I definitely agree with that, but I think it doesn't decrease. I think it increases. And I think the level of intensity. So that beam, I'm putting out the bandwidth with this beam, but it's scattered. All I'm doing is harnessing it in and focusing on the things that work. However, that beam is getting more intense as I hone in, but the pulsing, the frequency has to get stronger as well. So it's a combination of both. I'm honing in my craft, and I'm ramping up the frequency.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that when you're not spending time on things that are not worth spending time on.
Right. So I'm agreeing with you. However, there is no resting on your laurels. This is a never-ending story.
I told you, I'm with you on that.
Right. So, and that's what I tell people. And I told somebody this: you gotta love it. That's why I wanted that Kobe thing last week. You gotta love this. I love the fact that I'm healthy and I'm in the game. I have the ability to score 81. So if you're not in the game, you sit there watching on the sideline. At least you're in the game. And you have the ability to score. So why not go hard at it? If you're going to shoot at something, kill it. Why just randomly shoot? Does that make sense? I mean, why not work hard? Why not? You're in the game. Yeah. Isn't that beautiful?
Right. I mean, but that comes from I think that comes from like your upbringing and the fostering of that you can do whatever you want to do. Because if you already feel like you can't do anything, then why work? But
Well,
if you have the mindset and you have the upbringing to where you can do anything and you have it within yourself, then I mean that's what's gonna happen. Go ahead. I know
What's
you-
that phrase, by the way? If you believe you can or you can't,
either way, you're right.
you're right.
Right. I'm gonna push back on that, Dunbar, because where I'm from and the environment I came from, most of the people aren't doing anything. So I was raised in an environment where they were told you just to get by. They were survivalists. Just to survive, you're doing something. And I looked around and I didn't want any part of that. I wanted to be different. So one thing about Brandon B. Dixon is I represent perseverance. I represent shuffling the deck of the cards that I was dealt. Right. And I'm all about reshuffling that deck until I get the hand that I want.
I'm totally with you, and I guess environment and this the standpoint that I'm coming from is at home, because of course if you raise in an environment like I'm from the same place you are, that environment of course is going to be toxic, but if you have the love at home and the positive drive at home, where you spend most of your time at, that is where you get that. That's where you get that reinforcement from.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I back to the first clip. Like most of the people are gonna try to deter you because they want your attention. Don't forget, it's called pay attention. Pay is a currency. So most people, especially with females and relationships, and some people are like David and Cal are fortunate to find their soulmates. However, everybody's not as fortunate. Some people, they want that attention. That sometimes that attention that you pay into your purpose is actually a rival to them. You know, so you got to watch that as well. You invite these. Don't forget, you invite vampires in. You know, so sometimes they here to suck your energy. So sometimes your energy gets sucked, and you try to divert this attention to satisfy, to balance this, and it doesn't work out. So with me, I never had anything from home except myself and my higher power. You know, and that's all I had, and it taught me that's all I had to depend on. As long as I'm in purpose, I'm always gonna be where I need to be. You know, so and I was taught you can't put your faith in anything material at all. It's all an illusion. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. My coming into my spot here. Oh no, you're talking. I love the back and forth. In fact, I wish we did more of this and less of like you go. Like I like the back and forth. Like I think this is better.
Well, people forget like hey, you're next.
Yeah. This is my quote. Life is like a fingerprint. It's unique to you. That's my quote. I came up with that. I tell everybody that, like, what you're dealing with, no one can possibly relate to fully. We want to, like, some of us really, really want to, but we can't. Every single person has a different life experience. We can't fully relate because we don't know the full context of your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, your relationships in life, your business relationships, like everything that's happened to you, we don't know. Only you know. But one thing that I really do like, that one of the top sales trainers in our industry, Mateen Cleaves at UWM, our number one partner, every single thing he shares is the same quote that he shares all the time, which is smart. Keep your grind tight and your mind right. Keep your grind tight and your mind right. That's how he opens and closes every single sales training he ever does, which is exactly how it works. You go, you focus, you do your thing, you work hard, you keep your grind tight. Like, what am I doing that's not helping my business? What am I doing that is helping my business? And then you figure that out. But as you go, you start to, it's going to happen. It's automatic. It's going to happen. You're going to deviate. But you keep your mind right and you focus on the right things, then all of a sudden it gets easier because now you're focused on the right things. Like rehone this thing. Like, why am I doing this? What's my drive? What's my passion? Like coming back to the basketball video there of, you know, like what am I doing? Like, what's my daily routine look like? Like why am I even doing this? Who am I doing this for? Am I doing it for me? Somebody else? Like what's happening here? But what I was thinking of, you know, watching this commentary in the video, I was actually thinking of our CEO. If anybody doesn't know, so we're with Nexa Lending. Me and Dixon here. We're with Nexa Lending on the mortgage side. Our CEO, Mike Cordes, he was an LO, a loan originator, just closing loans, helping families, and then all of a sudden, he brought in a couple of partners that had some good ideas. And thought, well, let's create a way that we can help grow the company and incentivize people to help us grow. And let's put better technology and better support behind it and whatever. Well, all of a sudden, 8 years later, we're the largest, fastest growing mortgage company in the history of the country. How did that happen? Well, that's pretty cool. Like, dude had a vision and he ran with it, and he went from like 3 LOs to 3,500 plus LOs today. Loan originators nationwide in 8 years. Went from nothing, and he actually, just the other day, by the way, I want to point out, he just posted online. He told his story. So this is not like a share. He was homeless. He was a homeless guy living on a couch of a friend, trying to figure out how to close a loan, and he didn't have money for gas or anything. Like no car, nothing. And then he started building and growing this vision with his friends and his partners. And he was focused and he went. And now he has this thing. But what I love is just in the last few months, he started to realize this thing's gotten so big and it's getting ahead of me. So let me bring in some top level executives from other industries, a C-suite level, to help me out. So I can step back and focus on what makes me, me. Like get back to his roots, come back into doing what he wants to do, and bring in these people that can help support it. And I'm only sharing this because I'm not trying to like use this as an example to like focus on Nexa. I'm just saying like, I actually respect that decision that he made of doing that, because it would be really easy to be like, no, it's my company. It's my baby. It's my thing. Like I built it. Like ego comes into play, but no, take it. I'll pay you, delegate, like take this away from me. Let me focus on what is good for me, and let's help other people with this thing. So there's a balance here of where you fall in this line of alignment of are you in the grind mode? Are you in delegating mode? Are you in like take back ownership mode or give up ownership mode? Like there's this level you're always playing with here in your business. And I mean, Cal, you mentioned earlier, like to your point of like in your origin story here of all of a sudden, like everybody's kind of falling away, you know, from the industry. And you're like, well, this is our time to shine. Let's go. Right. And that's the same thing I thought is in my mind. I thought, okay, I started as a financial advisor, but I had mortgage products. So I know insurance, I know investment, I knew tax strategy, I knew estate planning, I knew all kinds of different things. And I thought back when the recession hit, everybody just left the mortgage industry because that was the one that got hit the hardest. So I'm like, that's what I'm going into. Of all the things I know, that's the one I'm going to pursue because I believe it makes the biggest difference in most families' lives, and everybody just quit. So I have so much opportunity ahead of me here because no one's in the space. And funny enough, I would go to networking events for like 2 years. I went to a networking event, every single one, 200, 300 people sometimes in these events. Never ran into one mortgage person from 2010 to 2012 until all of a sudden they came back. But that space of where I was not making money, trying to make connections, and no one was in it because no one was making any money, all of a sudden the work ethic paid off and it clicked. Like I talked about earlier, where I made 50 grand in 3 months and then it just kept going. So put in the work ethic, do it at the right time, focus on whatever other people are not doing. Like Rick Ross said, like make sure you're strategizing on your business model as you go. This is not a static thing that stays in place. Like you should always be reanalyzing this thing all the time. It's not just one thing in time of like, this is what I'm going to do. This is my plan. This is what it is. You reevaluate constantly, and then you change your model as you go. And hopefully you have a good coach or mentors in your life to help you take ownership of your business and grow this thing to another level in the right way.
Gotcha. Cal, I know you got to go. Any last thoughts? I know we're right at an hour and 34 minutes. I know it's going to be usually we're like hour and a half to 2. But so any last thoughts? Will you be joining us again? Or how'd you like the experience? Was it?
No, it was a lot of fun. I actually loved the experience of like looking at the clips and then sharing thoughts of the clips. I felt like it was really organic, you know, because I felt like the responses were organic, the reactions were organic. So it was really cool to see the unscriptedness of the whole thing. It makes it a little bit more exciting to bounce ideas. So I really appreciate you guys having me on. I mean, I have 4 kids, so I really thought 9 p.m. I was like, all right, it's just going to go for an hour. I told my wife, I was like, it's just going to go for an hour and a half. And then all of a sudden I looked out my right and I saw like 3 kids at my door. Like, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, are you going to come? Like, we're all going to bed. So yeah, it's pretty late in our house, but I really appreciate you inviting me on and getting to meet all you guys. It's cool to always connect with people that are out there making a difference in the world and have great mindsets, and look forward to seeing all y'all way more successful as the years go on.
Gotcha. And then Cal, before you leave, don't forget to tell them where they can find you.
Oh, yep. Just go to my Instagram at @CalAdams_, or you can find me on Facebook. I'm actually not posting much on social media, so this is a good thing to get me out of my shell. We talked a little bit earlier about building phases. Right now I'm in a big building phase. So look forward to connecting with you guys more often.
Gotcha. All right, man. We definitely appreciate. Don't be a stranger, man. Like anytime you want to come on, we're every Monday at 9:00. You know, I definitely appreciate your insight. You know, so don't be a stranger, man. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I think I don't know if we're gonna do one more clip, but we will probably do a little little summary, and then we're gonna wrap it up ourselves.
Well, thanks, Brandon. Appreciate the invite, everybody, and the hospitality.
Nice meeting you, bro.
Have a good night.
But yeah, man, like I said, just to wrap everything up, I don't know. I'll run the other clip next week because I think
we can end it there. That's plenty of time.
I think we got Ian and John Flowers supposed to be coming on, so I got some more pointed like industry stuff that we're going to talk about next week. Cal was big in philosophy and he's a consultant, so this was a good show talking about just the mind state of businesses and you know, especially if you're starting a business or just hitting a wall in the business, how to bring yourself out of how can you get out of the Barracuda mindset, get delusional about your goals, work hard on every facet, and you want to go ahead and don't set any boundaries on yourself. You know, and that's kind of the theme, the underarching theme of this particular podcast. This week's podcast is kind of on the mental side and pulling yourself up, you know, from the mental depths. You know, should I say it? You know, because like I said, it's all in the mind. If your matter follows mind, if your mind isn't right, like Mantine says, your mind is not right.
Yeah, keep your mind right and your grind tight.
Grind tight.
Vice versa. Grind tight, mind right. Either way.
The mind is first.
It stuck with me. Like it's just
if the mind ain't there.
Sometimes you're in one and sometimes you're in the other. Like my mind's right, but I really don't feel like working today. Other days you're like, all right, I'm gonna go to work and you're gonna do the thing, but your mind's not right and you're not coming at it from the right angle. And you're just not all there.
You gotta love it though. I think this is, and I said this before, and I'll say it again, like rehashed. I think you got to treat your business like a marriage. And if you're truly in love, you don't need to actually think about ways to keep the spark.
True.
The spark is there. It's not a chore. It's not a task to keep the spark. And what I mean by that is that if you truly love it, you can't date your business. You got to marry the business. So if you're truly in love with the business and truly this is your lifestyle, this is it. Creativity shouldn't be an issue because you love what you do. So how can I get it better? How can I make it more exciting? How can I do this new? How can I beat this? So creativity, you just have to partition the time. All right, I want to take a couple hours a week just so all right, what are my goals? What I've seen this week? I study other streamers. It's just not brain rot stuff. I'm studying other streamers on seeing how to get better at the craft. Seeing what I need to do to get engagement. So different things like that. I study, be a student of what it takes. Study the outlook of your business. So you should have no problems with being creative if you immerse yourself in the business. This is your bride,
right?
So to speak. Does that make sense?
Yep. And part of that too is figuring out what you are passionate about in the first place.
Right.
You may not even know what that is yet. For me, like growing up, I thought my dad did flooring, and I thought I was going to be a flooring installer for my life, and I was going to take over the family business. I'm the oldest of 5 boys, so the plan was I'm going to take over dad's business, train my brothers in, and flooring is my thing. I hated it. I wasn't passionate about it. It would make me good money, but it wasn't my thing. And then all of a sudden I found this financial concept of, wait, there's a way that exists that I can teach families how they can change their own lives financially, and I can get paid the same or better than if I do flooring. And I'm like, I know this is going to take time. I recognize the effort, but I'm all in. Like, what do I got to do? And crank out 100+ calls a day, every day for years and years straight to build this stupid thing to get to that point. Like, it was a grind, but it was because I cared about it. I was passionate about it. I wanted to do this. And I think it's the same for you guys too. You guys both got into this industry, not because you're like growing up thinking, I want to be a mortgage advisor. I want to be a real estate agent. Mm-hmm. Like that's nobody grows up thinking that. You stumble your way into it and you're like, I got a passion for this. I love this thing. But for like Cal, his thing is not anything to do with real estate. His has to do with the focus on physical fitness and physical health and the business strategy behind that. So everybody's different. Like everybody has their thing. Figure out your why, your thing. And then when you find your passion, run with it. And all of a sudden it might take wings and fly.
No, it will take wings and fly if you, like you said, do everything that you can. It's promised to you. Don't forget the 3-part equation. Ask you shall receive, seeking you shall find, knocking the door shall be opened unto you. This is what you're promised if all 3 things are firing on all cylinders. So,
but keep in mind too, you may, as we had with the Barracuda effect that we watched that video earlier, you may fail. It may not work, and then you think, well, it didn't work.
Do you really fail though?
Did you really fail? That's exactly the question.
Did you really fail? And that's why I had the Popeyes one, but I couldn't find it as the last one. For the
really?
Yeah, that was the last one.
That was a good one. We'll watch that another. We'll watch that next one.
But that was the whole purpose of that was the summarize. That was going to be the last video. But did he really fail by coming in with the bland chicken, the mild chicken? Was that a failure, or was that a part of the journey?
Well, we'll do that next time, breaking that one down too, though. That was a good video, though.
Right. So that was the full circle. Is it really a failure or is it part of the process? Because I don't think you can lose. I think it's just a lesson.
If we're quoting a scripture, by the way,
right.
In Proverbs, it says that the righteous one will fall down 7 times and continue to get up.
Mm-hmm. As long as you get back up 8.
Exactly. You got to keep going. You got to get up again. You keep going, you fail, you keep going.
Right.
If you're not willing to keep going, you will fail. You will eventually fail. Once you decide in your mind you will fail, you are correct.
Right. I think what happens to a lot of, especially in this new generation and in our community as well, I think we get embarrassed as far as peer pressure. We're scared to fail because of what peers might think of you. So we're scared to look stupid. We're scared to come home with the tail in between our legs. However, and that fear forces you to not want to take chances. Because there's social pressure to not wanting to look stupid. But it's just like infatuation when they say fall in love, just like that woman. And I'm getting philosophical. I know dumb boys get restless here, but this is the land of playing. When they say fall in love, don't forget when you fall in love, you temporarily lose control of your faculties, right? Boom, you fell.
Yep.
Because anything that I'm gonna just go ahead and lay in love.
You're falling. Yeah.
Yeah, you're falling. So that goes to the infatuation, that delusion that I don't care how stupid I look. I'm going to express my feelings for this person, and I don't care. That's how you got to be with the business. I love this business. I'm gonna express my feelings by doing what I need to do to make this come into fruition, and I don't care how I look. So that's how it got to be. You can't really say you love that person when you're looking over your shoulder. Oh, who's looking at me holding her hand? If I go for a hand and she shoots away, who somebody gonna see? You don't love that person.
Yeah. No, I'm not getting angry. I mean, you just summarizing what I said. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just getting, you just take your take on it. But no, you definitely right, man. It's if you're not 100% there, mind, body, and soul, it's not gonna work. And to young and David, to what you're saying, some people don't know what to put their mind, body, and soul in. So it's just life.
I find out a lot. We need to do a show. That's a good show that we need to do because
I was gonna say we should do that.
Right, because I'm feeling a lot of people like I ask them what their purpose is and they don't know.
Yeah.
And these are 20, 30-year-olds. Like, how do you not know your purpose in life at that point? So what I can't imagine a life without purpose. I don't get that. Like, all right, what are you doing? So
I'm going to argue as well that growing up, social media came into my life towards the end of my teenage years, and it wasn't really a thing prior. Like, it was just like, oh, this is a cool thing. And then I have 4 younger brothers, and all of them, like, the way that it kind of transpired is the mentality started shifting. And but I'm not even like trying to like knock my brothers. I'm just saying, like, all of society, all of the friends, all of the kids I knew, like everybody my age or younger started struggling suddenly. And I think a lot of it is just distraction. Social media distraction. Like, there's too many distractions. And now it's so easy. You jump on, you're like, I'm going to watch this one video. And then 30 minutes later or an hour later, you're still watching social media. And have you really learned anything?
Right.
Have you really improved?
Yeah, I think you're right. But I think what social media forced people to do it, not me personally. Some people that's in my age bracket, I'm not sure how old you guys are. It makes you compare yourself and your worth and your journey with other folks. And some of the stuff you see on these social media platforms are fabricated. So you're going against something that you can't beat because you are authentic, and you're looking at something that's fabricated and trying to compare yourself to those folks or those platforms.
The key point is comparison. You watch other people, like, so I don't know about you guys, but in my space, not my space, I'm saying in my space, not to be confused with the social media platform that used to exist that nobody knows what that is anymore. But in my world, everything I see in my feed practically is real estate focused. So I'm seeing all of my colleagues, including you, Brandon. I mean, even this show we're doing right now, like, I'm looking at what you're creating, and I'm looking at what Dunbar is creating. Like, I'm seeing all of your guys' feeds, and I'm like, the whole time I'm like, well, I do okay with this, but man, I stink at this. Like, I'm not good at that. Like, how did they do that? Like, how did they make that visual effect? And did they use that in this system or that system? And how did they get that? Like, did they hire somebody for that? Or how do I get AI to do this for me? And like, which system should I use for this? And I start getting in my head about this stuff. And it's really easy to do. You start comparing yourself to other people, but stop doing that. Funny enough, some of the top people out there are extremely successful doing nothing crazy cool. Great example. One thing I would love, Brandon, at a future time, I want to make sure we get this on the podcast, is Jefferson Fisher. Jefferson Fisher. He's a trial attorney. He's a little younger than me. Oddly enough, I found out recently, a couple years younger than me, actually. He comes from a family of judges and lawyers, and he literally sits in his car, and about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, he started recording a video just in his car, talking to his camera, and he blew up to now being like the #1 podcast in the world. And everything that he's doing, it has a whole nother level to it. He wrote a bestseller. Like, I mean, dude's on another level now from talking in his car.
Right. That I'm not to cut you off, but that's a good segue. I want to kind of I want to tie what you and Dunbar said together, and because I know Dunbar got to go, I'm about to go as well. But to tie the two together, social media can be a gift and a curse. It's all on how you use it. As the technology gets better, it could be a thing to enhance your business, or it could be a thing that impedes your business. So I don't know how you use it. So I give you an example. If you're using it for business, what you say, even the comparison, I look at the comparison and I transmute that energy. It's like, all right, this loan officer's doing this, well, I got to do this. So I'm gonna figure out how can I get to this level? All right, your videos are looking good. You're doing this, and I get a lot of biters because I'm a pioneer.
Yes.
So I'm not afraid.
You are. You're good with that.
Yeah, I'm a pioneer. So all right, y'all doing this. All right, I'm gonna do this, and then nobody's doing this, and then I watch everybody try to copy that. All right, so y'all guys caught up to this. I'm gonna do this. So I always got to be the valedictorian. So I got to be and that pushes me to the next level. And I go at it with that mentality. All right, whatever you guys doing, I'm gonna do better, and then I'm gonna do stuff that you never thought of, and that goes to that creativity. I look around and I see the feed. These guys are doing this. All right, how can I top that? And I sit there, brainstorm and meditate, research. That's you seek, and you should find who's doing other stuff in other spaces that's successful. Study them. All right, how can I bring this to the mortgage space? And then in the mortgage space, nobody else is doing this. So I'll be the first. So that's how I look at it. So I don't look at it, oh my God, oh damn, what are you doing? No, I lead from the front, not from the rear.
Yeah.
So it's all on how you perceive it.
Yeah.
So
you can look at it and be like, how can I imitate and improve on it versus that's what they're doing. Oh, I suck. I'm not doing anything. Like, woe is me. And what's the point?
That's the whole thing with people, you get the comparison envy. You can let it defeat you or you can let it propel you. Yeah. And then that's with social media. You can look at it, just watch brain rot stuff. You got to moderate your brain rot stuff. All right. I watch a little bit of junk food, but you got to take that junk food and analyze it. Like I watched Thomas Sotomayor. You would think this is retarded. You know what I'm saying?
I don't actually know what that is or who that is.
Right. But he's a shock jock. He's been around. He's like the OG he was the first making money on YouTube. He was like the first dude back in like 2010. Okay. But anyway, he's been doing it so long, for 15 plus years. I study the techniques, not saying I would duplicate his content, because his content and my content two different worlds. But the way he talks about how he the hours that he goes live at, I'm studying how he conducts a panel, the questions that he asks. Yeah. I'm looking at all that stuff. I'm looking at the inflections of his voice, how he talks real loud. then he's like, hey, you know,
Yep.
I'm looking at all of that stuff.
There's an art to it.
There's an art to it, skill. So a lot of people not taking this that serious. A lot of people not even streaming, not even doing what we're doing as far as content, period. So I want to be the leader. I want to be so far ahead. By the time you catch up, I'm already lapped you. I'm like, damn, you just getting to this. I've been just like with the podcast. I've been doing this for 9 years. I was doing podcasts when it was just audio.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't start the visual until like 18 or 19. I was doing it 17 when it was just Apple Podcasts where it was audio. You go back and listen to some of those. So that's how long I've been doing it. So nobody thought of like podcast. What are you talking about? Yeah, I got a podcast. You know? So but anyway, I don't want to ramble. With that being said, guys, please share the actual lives. We will be chopping this up. I got started on. I'm gonna finish last week, and I got to do last week and this week. I got started on, and I got distracted on something, but I'm gonna finish chopping up last week. I'm gonna chop up this week as well, and we're gonna throw the clips. The clips are doing actually pretty well. You know, so I need to start translating to now. I give you this: it's translating to more engagement. What I needed to try, I want to get engagement, and I want the people to come and watch this podcast. I'm going to ask you gentlemen to do this as well. What we need to do is what Kenny said is start cross-marketing. I need us to kind of on each other's page, start commenting and start the engagement off. And then if y'all can do a Facebook event to kind of get your followers and invite them, maybe Sunday night, invite them to the event. Maybe they can start. I want more live people. The people I see we got religiously 5 to 10 people every week. So we appreciate those people religiously. We got 5 to 10 people that watch us. Can we 10x that or 100x that? We'll definitely
we have people that watch it afterwards, of course, as well.
Yeah, they got a lot of people that watch it afterward, you know.
Right.
But we want I'm seeing like Tommy's been in it 15 years. He gets anywhere from 800 to 1,000 live viewers. And then, of course, you got his.
Well, thank you, Tommy. We appreciate you.
But you got people like the mega streamers like Kai, Casanat, and all that. They get 20 to 30,000.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we'll get that big, but if I could get to a few hundred watching us, we live, and then people, a few thousand watching us on the replay, we're doing something, especially in our space.
Right.
So I appreciate the people that's watching us, and I appreciate our long-term viewers. I definitely appreciate y'all, and I would ask y'all, if y'all do like our content, please share it. Please share it with some family and friends. If y'all like us, please. With that being said, anything else, gentlemen, y'all?
No, sir.
All right. We'll be on next week.
Good episode. Very good episode. Loved having Cal on the show as well. If you're not already following Cal as our guest, please make sure to go follow him as well.
Got you.
Definitely.
We'll see y'all next week.
Peace and prosperity.